Welcome back to On the Road podcast with myself, Florence Msundwa, the convener of the Road Freight SME Summit. The On the Road podcast is brought to you by FNB and West Bank. Remember to book your seat for the annual Road Freight SME Summit that is coming up in October on the 16th and the 17th. Book your seat. Make sure that you are part of this ecosystem that is all about making sure that SMEs in the road freight industry build sustainable businesses. Today, I have the pleasures of having one that I have known, a woman I've known for years, a formidable woman in the space that is leading a growing business, a trucking business. They even do cross-border now. So their business has grown very much so. And not only that, but she's also a speaker at this year's conference. So we are happy to have Nomsa, the CEO of Faith Rich Logistics. I like the name, and we're going to get into what brought and inspired the name. Hi, Nomsa. How are you?
Hi, Florence. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's so good to see you. It's so good to sit with you. How long have we known each other for?
Definitely more than about 6-7 years.
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah. I think, we've had our meetups.
Yes.
And events. Yeah. So it's been good.
Hundreds and really home girls.
Yes. Home girls.
We are home girls. So Nomsa, let's get into it. I mean, you've grown the business from one truck to now over 25. I won't say the exact number. Over 25 trucks. You're doing cross-border. You're doing bulk. I mean, you have grown over the years. Just give us contextually. How did it all start?
Sure. Well, Nomsa is a girl from Sasolburg, Zamdela. That's where I grew up. I was raised by my grandmother and my mother. So both very strong, very different women. So I grew up there, and I did my primary school in Sasolburg and my high school in Joburg when I moved to Joburg with my mom. But I come from a family of entrepreneurs, sort of, and academics. So it's a little bit of both, where my grandmother took me everywhere. And she was actually a hustler of note. Go high, there was Ditaveni. My grandmother sold anything and everything from malamuhodu to your chickens, to your clothes. There were these the places called the Ruth Reed.
Oh.
She used to sell Ruth Reeds.
Whoa.
Yes, and undergarments and everything. So she took me everywhere because, mind you, she was illiterate. She couldn't read and write. She couldn't tell the time. So she took me everywhere. And the tavern business started with horse racing winnings that her and my grandfather won.
Oh.
Then my uncle started the taverne, got into taxis and all of that. So I was very young at the time, and I think now in my older years is where I get to understand where that little bug of entrepreneurship was. So that's where it started. So when she goes horse race, she's like, okay, what does 14:15 mean? And I'm like, no, Lena can't, so it's 2:15. So then she would place the bet and we'd go to town and do all of that. So I think that's where it is, because that's where the bug came.
Nomsa, you mentioned the role of your grandmother and your mom and Ineliva Tuli, you know?
Yes.
They were very entrepreneurial. Who as well shaped your upbringing and the educated woman that you are today? I mean, your husband found an educated girl.
Yes.
Yes. Who also played that role?
My uncle.
Yeah.
My uncle, he's the only surviving family now in my maternal side of the family. So Kubo Mamanya Bali 4, and he was the third born. And the nieces and nephews, there's 8 of us. And each and every one of us, when we were in grade 12, he would ask us, what do you want to study? And I will pay for your fees. And I took that opportunity with both hands, and I applied at different universities. And the one that I got accepted to, I said, Uncle, I got accepted into Wits, and this is what I want to study. And he closed his surgery and he came and stood in the queues, the registration with me. And he gave me the key and said, you go get an education. From there, whatever else you do with your education, it's up to you. So I really hold that opportunity that he gave me. I hold it very close to my heart, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. And each and every one of my cousins all got the same opportunity. So it's up to you as a person if you didn't want to take it. But it was there on the table to say, where do you want to study? And I will support you in what you want to study.
With that, let's touch on something as well, right? The role of mentorship and coaching in life and also in entrepreneurship. Have you had any mentors, other people that you can pinpoint and say, yo, these people, and I looked up to this person, they've mentored me in this journey? Or have you just had to learn in the past 10 years, you and your husband?
I think it's a little bit of both. A lot of the things we had to learn ourselves, but I had an incubator program, I don't know if I can mention it, that I attended for 2 years that really taught me a lot about business.
Yeah, which is Sasso. You can mention which one.
Yeah, it was Cecil as well as Race Corp.
Oh, wonderful.
I was part of the Race Corp business incubator system, where we went through sessions. We would sit with other entrepreneurs and would really dissect the entrepreneurship industry. And then you had sessions where you sat with your 5 mentors in sales, in marketing, in finance, in personal development, and looking at your business as a whole. So that really helped me a lot. And I always go back to those learnings when I'm stuck in certain things, as well as the Sasol Enterprise and Supply Development Program that we are part of. They were very pivotal and vital in the growth of where the business is now, because they partner with you and they give you those targets as to, you need to move from being an EME to a QSE to a generic, and will give you the tools, not just the finance, we give you the tools and the training and the support that you need in order for you to get there. Because it will take longer when you try to do it yourself, because you first got to have research and learn and then get into the market. But if you've got a strong company that has those resources and they help you to get there, then it really helps in the stability and the sustainability of your company.
No, that's great. That's very great.
Then, but school-wise, I studied microbiology. I studied BTech actually at VUT.
And here you are running trucks.
Yes. So I'll explain to you now where the pivot came.
Yeah.
But I worked as a microbiologist for a cosmetics company for a couple of years. And then I met my husband. So my husband is from Sebokeng. And
homeboy.
Yes. So he's from Sebokeng. So we met around 2012. And he then used some of his savings to buy a truck while I was working in the lab. Knew nothing about transport, nothing about logistics. But then because I was involved with what he was doing, dealing with truck breakdowns, hiring drivers, invoicing, then I started learning and understanding. You'd be like, okay, truck has done loads, love, please invoice. I didn't know what an invoice. I'm from chemistry and maths and microbiology, microorganisms, so I wouldn't know. And slowly but surely I started learning what logistics is
about,
what it's about. And
show visual to your husband.
So he's essentially the brainchild, but I think he and I together are two very dynamic and very strong partners in the business. So May 2012 got into logistics until it got to a point where I was working 2 jobs at the same time. So when we landed a long 5-year contract, we both made a decision to say, let me leave my work and get into the business, and we'll build it as we go.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. Umpagoder. You are the woman that I think a lot of men would want, that would believe in a vision and support their husband and immerse yourself in it. But let's get to the name Faith Rich Logistics. So you've given us context as to how it all started, and your husband giving that first step of faith, and you saying, darling, sisonke in this thing. The name Faith Rich Logistics, how did you guys come up with that name?
When I met him, the name was already there.
Oh, wow.
The company had been registered doing other work other than logistics. But when the truck then came into it, and then we sort of decided that this is the direction that the business is taking, we then just stuck with the name. We didn't decide to change it because it actually carries a lot of meaning. The word faith and rich, his name being Richard, together it made Faith Rich Logistics. But when you look at the meaning, is that you're rich in faith. And a lot of the times in, the challenges that we've been through, sometimes faith is all that gets you through. Because you sometimes wonder, okay, how that huge hurdle that was going to take our business down, you sometimes don't know how you got through. So I think the name actually has a very deep meaning of all the challenges that we've been through and how we've come through and where the business is going. I think it's very deep. So yeah, that's where Faith Rich comes from.
No, that's great. That's great. Let's go to, you mentioned that you guys then landed your first 5-year contract, right? How many trucks did you have? How many years ago was that, firstly?
That was in 2016.
2016. So now it's 9 years.
Yes.
Around about 10 years you've been in this business. It was a defining moment, I can imagine, right? You had one truck. Now just take us through that journey from that one truck to the first. That was purchase orders. It was not contract.
Yeah.
Then you got this 5-year contract. Just take us through that.
So we were working with the one truck we had. It was purchase orders. It was subcontracting, moving a lot of dead miles. The truck wasn't making money. So when the 5-year contract came through, that was a big moment for us. But it was a big moment for us without us having the sufficient experience and without having the sufficient financial muscle to take it on. Because you get this huge RFQ and they want routes going everywhere. At the time, you only have one truck and you've submitted rates for that. And then they come and they give you this big boom of loads. And sometimes you can't handle it, or you're growing at such a fast rate that...
It's like a vertical growth with a tailwind, like a serious tailwind.
A very, very big tailwind of people that don't necessarily have all the skill. And you grow very fast and it gets very overwhelming. It gets very overwhelming and emotionally taxing on you as a person. And we grew the business very fast and it went sort of down to break even, and then it started moving up again. Yeah. So that was a huge challenge.
You speak a lot around clearly preparation was important and the skills gaps you might have had during that time. Take us back to those moments when you're like, yo, babes, this thing. Take us back to those challenges that you faced during that moment where you were entrusted with quite a big contract and you didn't know. What is it that you didn't know? That if somebody's in that position at this current moment, you would say they need to pay attention to?
It's always making that decision, especially when it comes to routes and rates, and ensuring your truck is 100% utilized. Because a corporate company or your contractor can take the truck from Cape Town to Durban to Polokwane, back to PE, and you actually don't get to see how your rates and your routes are optimized. You just got the work. You just want the work. So the planning part comes where you actually learn to see when this truck starts and moves from point A to point B, are you going to make enough profit on it? And are you including all your expenses when you're doing that load? Yes, it can move from here to Cape Town and then Durban tomorrow, but you know that every kilometer that it's moving, you have accounted for all your costs. And make sure, very big point, that you don't have trucks that move empty. Because as much as you see your GP on the rate, some people forget about that dead mile coming back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And these were the hard lessons you learned. I know rates are a hard lesson a lot of people learn, because a lot of people get into the space not knowing how to calculate the CPK. You kind of learn as you go. What are the fixed costs and the variables in all of that. And also bad routes. And their cost on your maintenance of your truck. And I'm sure that was a sore one. What was also the lessons on building a great culture for your drivers? Because they are critical, in the business, and they were critical in you making sure you deliver on that contract.
Your drivers can make or break you. I think starting by having a strong communication relationship with the driver is very good. We had a tendency in our business where, you communicate orders through the WhatsApp group. So when the driver is done offloading, it's after he offloads, the next load comes. So it's load, offload, and that human relationship between the fleet controller and the driver then sometimes is neglected. So what we then started doing in our business is that have that brief and debrief. Find out that, Mamang, how did you wake up today? How are you? Okay, Oboni, I've sent you orders for the day or for the week. Will you be able to do it? Because you plan the journey with him. It's not just a link to a Google map on where he's going to go from point A to point B, but plan the journey with him. He also feels involved. He also feels part of what we're trying to do, instead of them feeling like a robot where I'm just loading off. But on my journey and in my route, is there someone that checks in on me? Are they able to attend to the challenges that I'm facing on the road with regards to delays or customers not offloading or customers fighting with them? Is there someone there that can come in and help me? And that's where the building of the culture comes, and the relationship between management and the driver, because it's lonely for them out there. They're on the road. They're the ones that experience it firsthand. We can look at it theoretically, but they experience it firsthand. And I think just coming down to a human level and understanding what they go through, and then coming back to the yard and having that debrief and finding out what's the issue, because you can go back to the client and explain what the driver is experiencing. Yeah.
Well, you sound like a true woman leader. Very empathetic. Very, very empathetic. Nomsa, as you grew, you started with purchase orders. Those were not in millions, right? And then you grew, you got this big contract, and now you are having to deal with billing millions of monies, right? And being responsible of a bigger staff complement and salaries and compliance and things like that. What would you say has been the role of having the right systems and processes in place? And with that answer, my follow-up question is going to be, what has been the lesson in making sure that you know how to manage money? Because we know a lot of people that get into it, get a contract. Before you know it, their trucks are idling, they have folded. But the first thing I would like you to touch on, which I know you even post about a lot, it's around compliance and systems and processes. What role has that played in your business?
I think if you don't have those processes and don't have that compliance, then the longevity of a business will not last that long, because the logistics industry is moving towards compliance. Like mines, energy companies, they all deal with compliance, because of the risk that is there with untrained drivers, with unroadworthy vehicles, it really is a risk on them to their customers. It's a risk as you as an operator as well. So building processes, which is actually something that I was strong in where I was working, because we do a lot of report writing, a lot of that. So building the procedures and the processes is something that's very important. Even the simplest thing of when a driver goes and fills diesel, have a procedure for that. Even all on your onboarding, your driver manuals, really you need to be good on that. And it's very good that when you're approaching the big corporates and you can come and you can have proof of your compliance. There are a lot of bodies now in the industries that do certify you for that, your RTMSs, your SQASs, they certify you for that. And it's really, really important. And it's very good to have that chip on your shoulder.
Yeah, to say I got this
I've
certification.
Got this. Yeah, because they also have that trust and that confidence in you that, you know, you can carry their commodities with all the trust and all the compliance that you already have. So it's really good to have it. It's difficult in building it also. So it's really good because some of our clients are very strict on that. I mean, they're going towards having control towers and control rooms where you have the big screens and you're watching all the trucks moving. You need to be proactive in preventing accidents and not reactive anymore.
Especially with insurance companies.
And all of that. So it's really, really good to build compliance, and it just helps in the sustainability of your business. I guess we're not just doing things on a whim. There's always things that you can come back to and say, no, this is how it's supposed to be done. And even when you're not there, those things can still continue. They don't have to always depend on you.
Managing money, that part.
Managing money, your relationship with money as an entrepreneur, it reflects in your business.
Wow.
Your personal relationship with, if you are frugal, you will see that there will be a lot of limitations in you opening up new spheres in your business.
Wow.
Because you just want to stay here. But if you open up your heart and open up your heart in terms of when money goes out, the universe will bring it back. And that's a big thing of how my husband and I actually deal with money. I'm the frugal one, and he just gives money out
a lot.
Yeah, but he's also very giving in terms of money, and it always comes back, sometimes in fold. So it's good that you need to know your relationship with money as an individual and how you apply it in your business. It shows. So it comes across in how you do your rates, how you set your targets in terms of your profitability, and how you invest in big things in your company. Don't just look at it at a point where, no, I'm just buying this truck so that I can service these volumes that I'm having for the next couple of months. You need to look at it from a perspective that when I'm buying this truck, it needs to generate enough money that it can buy another truck. Yeah. So that's how you need to look at it. So it's very good to just be in tune.
Did you guys go through any finance courses just to get yourself, more competent in the business? Or how did you, because I'm asking this a lot because I know a lot of people that have started this business and got good contracts, and they went out and splashed and bought big cars and, without yet even delivering. And before you know it, they cannot pay salaries. And 2 years, 3 years down the line, they have folded their business. Take us deeper in that journey of cash flow management, having a CA as your friend, hiring the right bookkeeper, knowing your numbers yourself. Take us deeper as to what controls you put into place.
A lot of times when you are growing the business, you can't afford to have an in-house accountant.
Yeah.
So you go to your consultants or external accountants that will do your books. And sometimes you only go to them when you need to submit your SARS at the end of the month, or you need management accounts for something that you're trying to file. So you don't always understand. And I also didn't always understand how it works. But you become so hands-on and so involved in the business that you always ask and try to understand what your balance sheet is and what your income statement is. So there is an incubator program that I did become a part of where I had coaches in finance, in sales and marketing, in entrepreneurship, and even in your personal development. So on a monthly basis, they would be like our board. And you would present your finances to them, and they would nitpick
and keep you
and
accountable.
go through it and keep you very accountable in terms of how you are running your business. Because we were just the two of us trying to make it work. But when you have that experts that come in and they look at, okay, here's your wasteful expenditure, or here's where you're bleeding, it's very good. And even when I was outside that program, I could still apply the same principles in the business. Yeah,
I know a lot of truck or fleet or operators, they bleed a lot in the area of fuel. You bleed in tires. What has been the measures you've put in place there to make sure that, obviously fuel, it fluctuates, it's a very volatile thing. And you've also had to teach yourself things around trailer management, making sure you've got the right insurance packages, whatever. But in the areas where you can mention where you are bleeding a lot, and what control did you then put into place? I mean, it's 10 years in the business, so clearly there's certain things you've gotten right.
So in the fuel part of it, I think it was better for us to go into a credit facility for fuel. It helps you with the cash flow because, with the 30 days payment terms, you only get your payments much later, but you need to put the fuel in now for the truck to move for you to make that income. So we have gotten into credit facilities with your big energy companies. And what we've also done is brought the fuel in-house where the trucks actually fill up at the site. Because on road facilities, obviously they add their markup, or when you are working for other companies or the brokers and they provide fuel for you, they charge an admin fee. And that admin fee, you can see it as minor, but when you look at it at the end of the month, if they filled 200,000 of diesel for you on the load, the admin fee could easily be 10,000-15,000 rand. That could have been your money. So I think us bringing diesel in-house, because you also get it at a rebate when you buy it directly from the manufacturer. So you save a lot on the rebates. In insurance as well, there's a lot of insurance companies out there, and sometimes you don't, some of the things I think are a bit overly priced. So you really need to, we do our annual reviews. Your vehicle depreciates every year.
Yes.
So if you insured
it leaves the yard.
Yes. So when you insured the truck at 2 million when you bought it, 2-3 years down the line, the value of the vehicle changes. And every time when you do your review, then the value that you insured the truck should also reduce. So that's how you can reduce your insurance cost as well.
You have to be very detailed.
Very detailed.
Very, very, very detailed. I can only imagine yearly reviews. And I guess if you don't do that, you'll also end up spending money and you're not aware that, but this is becoming wasteful expenditure, and we're not also keeping our suppliers accountable to make sure that they are providing what they said that they would provide to us. And instead of just them being a supplier, they are your business partners.
Exactly.
Everybody, whether it's fuel, whether it's insurance, whatever it is that they're doing with you or for you, they're actually your business partners. Let's talk accountability as a leader. You got into this, and I'm not going to say in a male-dominated industry, right? I'm going to move away from that, because leadership is leadership and vision is vision. Yes, you and your husband are both in the business, but you are the CEO of the business. So the culture of the leadership of the business, it's really Nomsa. When in your journey, rather, did you learn the importance of accountability and team building?
Sure.
Yeah.
And then
so team building, the importance of that, and accountability as a leader to your team.
You know what? I'm going through that process every day.
Wow.
We're going through that process because entrepreneurship starts, everything is in here. Everything is in your mind. And sometimes it's difficult for you to share that dream with your team. And for many years, I always wanted to do things myself.
We all suffer from that.
I wanted to do things myself. And because I myself, I'm in the process of becoming. Because remember, I didn't study logistics. So I myself was in a process of becoming, and we made a lot of mistakes. So because I don't want those mistakes to happen again, I sort of kept everything here so that I can be accountable to myself when I did the mistakes. But that stifles the growth of your business. And you've got people that are skilled and educated that are there to help you. My husband always said, then why are you paying the people if you're going to do all the work? You answer all the client emails, you do all these things. And I'm in a process of letting go and trusting them. And when I reflect back, they've actually always been there to catch me when I was making the mistakes. And it's so much easier now to let go. And they're like, okay, OC, we can see today you're not okay. What do you need us to help you with? And I'm like, this client, I'm having this trouble. I'm like, okay, let me take care of it. And I've created a forum where I can sit with my managers who know more than me, and they can help me to make decisions. So I think in me letting go and opening up and allowing myself to be vulnerable to the things that I don't know, and allowing them to then come in and take my weaknesses and make them strengths so that we can build the business together. Yeah.
It brings me to another question, right? Around healing as an entrepreneur. We go through a lot of betrayals. A lot of people hurt us. We get burned, whether from a client and also from some of the people that you've hired in the beginning of the journey. And some of them have sabotaged you along the path. And get a scar.
Yeah.
There are serious wounds. And that then lead us to be control freaks and very paranoid about everything and everyone, Have you had those experiences? Just take us through that. And how has it been important for you to heal? Because when we don't heal, we bleed on the other people. Yeah, what's your thoughts? Sure. Who's done what to you? And how did you overcome it?
I think we've gone through a little bit of all of it. We've had a load stolen from a driver that we literally started the business with. We've had companies that have not paid us and scammed us and ran away with the money. It's really hard. And I guess that's where that paranoia comes from, that, okay, I got burnt, so I don't want it to happen again. And you try to keep it. We've made mistakes by not reading contracts properly.
Yes.
And now when it comes to payment time, or when it comes to a situation, you're like, but what's happening here? This is not what I signed up with. They're like, go check clause, whatever in your contract, it was there. So because you've been burnt in those kind of things, because you're so scared of doing it again, that's where you keep the information in. And you don't want it to happen again. But like I was saying, because that stifles the business so much, it's always good to just prepare things in advance and have that safety net that if this doesn't happen, this is what it's going to be. Because have those plan A's, plan B's in place. And, sometimes just learn to pick up yourself again when you've fallen.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you get so stuck in that depressed mode that you lose sight of the other positive things that you have in the business.
Yeah.
We need to look at the small victories that we get to. I mean, you've got families that you're supporting. You've got staff that want to grow in this industry, and they're learning a lot from from me.
Yeah.
So me being depressed by one little hurdle or even a big hurdle, it won't work. It won't help with the growth path that we are going on. Yeah. So I think it's heavy, and it does get overwhelming a lot. And I think we just need to find ways of releasing it somehow. Through whatever ways that you feel in self-development, reading, walking, therapy, whatever it is, but you need to move past it. Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that, you got onto a tailwind and then it went slumped down.
Mm-hmm.
What happened then? What did you lose? So take us through the journey now. There was one truck. You got into how many trucks for you to get into 27 trucks? So take us through the journey of 27 trucks.
So we grew probably in 2 years. We got to over 20 trucks.
Wow.
But with the economic difficulties that were happening with that one big client that we had, they would ask us to drop rates every year.
Yeah.
Their volumes fluctuated a lot because they had a lot of plant issues where plants would break down, and whatever volumes that we were supposed to get that month, we didn't.
And did you buy them? Was it bought or were you renting?
It was bought.
It was bought.
It was bought. So we had to pay them every month. But instead of 10,000 tons, you're now getting 5,000 tons. Not enough.
It affects everything.
And a big mistake was that was the only client we had. You see, so then that's when I think the slump also came with us at the same time getting another big client. So while this one, the trajectory was going down, we were starting a new relationship with another client. I think that's where it saved us. And it was in a completely different industry. It was now in hazardous goods and dangerous goods, whereas here we're moving bulk.
Yeah.
So that kind of helped, but I think the mistake or the learning there is not to only depend on one client or having a client that has your biggest income. Even though we did have smaller ones, but when the one big guy goes, then you won't have enough to pay for all your overheads.
Yeah. What do you think people often miss around road conditions on trucks and knowing the right vehicle for the right commodity? Because you mentioned now, here you were doing bulk, now you had to do hazardous goods, meaning a lot is changing. And you're going to have new routes, you're going to deal with potholes somewhere else, and tires might increase. What your cost on repairing your tires might increase. What would you say is important in those stages of a business for an entrepreneur that is growing vertically now, for them not to turn a blind eye on?
Sure, yeah. The condition of the roads is a big problem. Even when it comes to disciplining the drivers.
Yeah.
When they do have those sidewall damages on the trucks. But it's a little bit of a difficult one, but I think it takes a lot of engagements with SMMEs and operators, with government as well, that how can we sort of form partnerships in trying to curb the issues that us as operators are facing on the road.
Yeah.
The conditions of the roads, especially in your mining towns, are really in a bad condition.
Yeah.
And it's affecting the community and the locals. So I think it takes a lot of engagements and partnerships with government in that, because it's not going to end anytime soon. And we can't keep filling potholes all the time, because that movement of the trucks on the road, the pothole is just a plaster on it. And redoing the whole road as well, it's not feasible for us operators to do or government to do, if we are the ones that are causing the damage on the roads. So it's really a difficult one, but it takes a lot of stakeholders being involved. I mean, Transnet is moving a certain percentage of the commodities to rail. It won't eliminate trucks completely, but it will alleviate the pressure on the road. Another solution could be Sure, I don't know, building more roads, because it's always just to try and find alternatives
Routes.
to alleviate the pressure on the roads. That could be something long term. So I think that's
Why I'm asking that is because there are people that are going to watch this, and there's a lot of people that still want to get into this business, right? And they wouldn't know these external factors and what it means to your business. All they see is about 25 trucks, these people are making money, but they don't know these external factors like poor roads or bad infrastructure and what it causes, the inefficiencies of all of this to your business. And actually you are picking up the costs of all of this. So indeed, it's going to take multiple stakeholders. And right there, I wanted people also to think about it before you get into this industry. Just think about the external influences. You also mentioned something, and I would like you to get into it, that when you were only servicing one client and they started having economic or production problems within their own organization, how it affected you. What would you say to SMEs? And based on your lesson, the importance of knowing the strategic projection of your current clients. It's sometimes you're servicing Florence this country. You don't know Florence is about to close in South Africa and she's moving somewhere else. And the importance of macroeconomics. What is your take?
Okay, firstly, I think it's important that you build that relationship with your client in terms of understanding what their projection is on the operators as a whole, because you should understand that the corporates are running huge logistics and supply chain operations, and we can have those engagements to say, okay, if I am a part of your supply chain, you clearly have production forecasts to your clients. So if you're planning that for this quarter or for that quarter, we want to manufacture 100,000 tons, and you've got 10 service providers, we should have those engagements. So that product needs to be moved, but who do you want to move it? So we need to have that, and don't just be at the end of the discussion to say, okay, how many volumes, how much volume am I getting this month? Be part of that little bit of an inner circle where you talk to your contracts manager and say, what is your production forecast for the next couple of months? Well, that would be the corporates, but even in smaller manufacturers that you service, have those engagements so that you can also go back and plan in your business that, mining industry, this is where it's going, or in FMCG, this is where it's going. And it's also very good that in your planning and your strategy, learn to diversify your business, because this industry is very volatile
and highly competitive
and highly volatile. We are already thinking, in the next 5-10 years, I do believe that a lot of product is going to move on rail, but it's going to be mineral commodities and dry product, your agri product. There are other products that can only move by road. So start thinking in that direction. Food will never go on rail. Think about that. FMCG won't move on rail, not all of it. But think about that. Think about your day-to-day products that refrigerators. That industry is not tapped enough. So think about that in terms of longevity of a business, and definitely diversify. Logistics can also be an ecosystem. Don't just look at trucks. There are truck stops. There's food in the truck stops. There is healthcare. There is provision of your PPEs. There's
a value chain.
There's a whole value chain.
Warehouses, distribution, packaging.
So you can try, and within your business, even though you started with just road freight or you started with trucking, sort of build an ecosystem within your business that you have other streams of income that can help to support the main business.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, and making sure that as an entrepreneur you have a strategic outlook about where this industry is headed.
Mm-hmm.
And you also, on the same note, I know you're doing cross-border. You're very big on it.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you guys consider doing cross-border and the opportunities? Because I learned recently that Mozambique and Botswana are very big importers of South African goods. What was it part of you guys looking for opportunities? Just share as to your cross-border leg.
So cross-border leg came as an additional contract with the main contractor that I had. We are moving a lot of product into Botswana. So even when we started the journey, we had a little bit of experience with doing work subcontracting, moving a lot of product into Zimbabwe. But it really is a big market in Botswana that I didn't always know about.
Linda, I'm learning. I was like, whoa,
I didn't always. But once you started it and you're seeing the trucks moving in, you see a lot of opportunity because there's also a lot of product that is in Botswana that needs to come into South Africa. So that is a very big market that we have literally just stepped into. We only have a small piece of that cake. And there's a lot
when you talk about cross-border.
There's still a lot to be explored in that industry. There's also still a lot that we are learning in terms of your customs and your clearing and forwarding in that area, and the delays as well. The legislations in the countries are also very different. So we need to learn to navigate those kind of challenges. But so far, us being in that industry now, it is going well. We just need to learn how to stabilize our footing in it in terms of how do we maximize on our truck utilization on those routes.
In those routes.
Yes.
I learned intercom terms on trades. I was like, there's a lot happening. And, there's just a lot happening. Let's talk entrepreneurship. It demands everything out of a person. And we still live in a world or even in a country when you're a female entrepreneur, they're like, how are you doing it? How are you coping with your kids? It's as if you are partially disabled and you're not. Oh, no, I don't mean anything bad to disabled people. Yes, I need to correct that, right? But what I meant is as if you do not have the capacity or the ability to be an entrepreneur and a thriving entrepreneur. What has it costed you?
Sure. It has costed me a lot, but it has also groomed me a lot.
What is the cost? What is the cost?
It has cost me a lot of friendships. It has cost me time with family. It has cost me just personal development as Nomsa. Because you have so many other things that you are responsible for that you neglect yourself. I mean, in the past 10 years, I have given birth 3 times.
Whoa.
I have buried both my parents. And we have built a business from 1 to over 25 trucks in a space of 10 years. So can you imagine the emotional weight that you carry? The physical ailments that you then suffer as a result of that.
The emotional burden.
The mental load that you carry. Because now you've got families that you're supporting while you're trying to sustain your own. You've got little kids that you want to build in those values. You want to spend time with them. You want them to know the authentic you, but you're so overwhelmed and you're so stuck in trying to make sure everything is fine that, you lose a lot. I had trouble sleeping because you're thinking so much, and that has a lot of weight. But I try to have a very strong support system around me.
And you're also managing a marriage.
Yes. And I still cook for my family every day.
Yes.
Which, cooking is a little bit of therapy for me. I love it. Yeah. But we're still trying to do all of that. So I deal with a lot of I don't know, overwhelmedness.
Demands.
Yes. And so I try to surround myself with a lot of support from my husband, from my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law. They sort of ground me a lot. So I get that support, and they can see me and they know me now that, okay, what can we take off you? What can we take off you that you can, reset again and start up again? Because it does get a lot.
Also, how have you dealt with the naysayers in the boardrooms? You come in, you're a woman, you're the one heading up the negotiations of the contracts, CEO. How have you navigated that? Some of them doubt your technical abilities of running this. They just see this pretty face. How have you navigated that? How have you had also built the competency to negotiate the right contract terms?
Sure. I think you have to go in there. It's like you have to work 20 times harder for you to prove yourself, especially when you're a woman. So you need to know that jargon. You need to learn the jargon of the industry, like your CPKs and your diesel consumption, and learn how to read the commercial contracts so that when you go in there, you know how to have your word at the table, but also bringing in that bit of femininity.
A red lipstick works.
Yeah, also bringing that femininity, but know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because that then gives the client that confidence that you are competent and you are able to run the work. It's not easy. I'm more good at listening to what they're talking about rather than just speaking up first. So I listen a lot, and I really think about how I want to present myself and present our company to the client. So you build your brand that somehow it speaks for you, it speaks for itself, and you know exactly what your client is looking for, and you can position yourself in that way that you attract what your client is looking for, but also have the backing to prove what you have.
You mentioned something so important, the importance of customer centricity, right? How have you managed to make sure that your business is customer centric? What do you put into place? Because other people just come in, as long as I've got the contract, whether they don't hone into being very central and focus on the pain points of your customer and delivering on that.
Funny enough, the clients that I have normally discuss with you beforehand what their pain points are. So you can always come in as a more solution-based type of logistics. And then you also need to look around, not just solving one problem.
Yeah.
Try to make it much more easier for them. Like, for example, if you got a client that needs product that needs to be exported at the ports, go in there already showing them what experience you have in terms of exporting. Your trucks already have permits to get into the port. You already have a link with clients that can do your freight forwarding for you, because the client needs to get the product overseas, but sometimes they're not involved in the nitty-gritties of what is needed to get it there. So go in there with the solution as well as value adds that can help the client, because that then will always bring that client back, and they can see that, this service provider or this operator understands the process, and they're coming in to bring solutions and also long-term, how do I put it, like making things easier for me. Yeah. So don't just be that person that I'm just going to do the load. Look at the whole process and see how you can sort of answer or solve the problem for the client.
For them. A young girl out there will look at you, Nomsa, and say, Osnoms, I want to be like you. What does it take to be you?
Sure. I think I channel a lot of energies at different times in whatever situation that I'm in. And the one that always brings me back is just my level of spirituality that I have. You know, that moment where you just don't have any answers. You can always go back to prayer, go back to reading the Bible just to sort of ground yourself again. And I think I also channel a lot of my mom and my grandmother's energies because they were very fierce. And I was actually the timid one out of the generations of the women in my family. But even in my quietness and not being outspoken,
very gentle spirit,
I am still able to hold my ground and hold myself. So I think I always try to get back to that, but it's not easy. I still have my flaws. I'm still becoming the person that I am because of the different facets and the different things that I have in my life right now. But I'm not defined by what I have.
Wow.
I'm not defined by money. I'm not defined by those kind of things. I just always try to be grounded, and I'm always humble at how far I've become.
Yeah.
And I think that humility is always what can make me understand one person to the next. From the driver to that CEO that you're sitting with in the boardroom, I see them and not what they are offering me or what they are bringing me.
What a tenure, hey? The passing of your parents, the growing of a business, the giving birth to 3 kids, the building of a team. How big is the staff complement now?
It's around 50
people. This is like, so many homes. The blessing and the challenge of being stretched and blessed.
Yes. Oxymoron.
Yes. The duality of it all. What has been, and I think I'm going to bring our conversation to a wrap, as you look back, what word defines it all for you?
Sure. Resilient.
Yeah.
Resilient in a sense that you always get better at it. You always get better at it, and you always come out stronger, and you always improve on whichever challenge that you've been through. I'm getting better at being a mom. I can see the mistakes I made with my firstborn and I'm correcting them with my secondborn. I'm seeing the mistakes that I made in business, and I come out of it more knowledgeable and more stronger. You see the mistakes that you make even in your partnerships and your friendships, and you can reflect on them, and you can always grow out of it stronger and more knowledgeable.
I always pray in the morning or in my own moment. I'm like, Lord, I pray that every decision I'm making is going to all be with it. Because oftentimes you are just doing what you can with what you have.
With what you had.
Yes. And people look at you and they're like, yeah. And in that moment, you are having such deep hurts and moments of being stretched that you're like, I actually don't enjoy my life.
Yes.
Do you have those moments?
A lot. I like to record voice memos when I'm driving home.
Yeah.
And the one that I did a few days ago was that I wouldn't want to be anywhere than where I am right now.
Wow.
I feel like this is somehow some kind of a calling that you are in, where you are growing. You are growing yourself, but you're also enjoying seeing the growth of the people around you, your team, your family. This business that is also your baby that you're trying to grow. And for some reason, because it feels so right, I feel like I've been called to be here, because your business will strip you so bare as a person that your insecurities and the things that you're still trying to work on, they come out, and you have to face them and you have to deal with them in order for your business to grow. Small things like I'm bad with time, and I see that those delays are causing a hamper in my business. So you learn that discipline to do things on time and to be punctual, because then you teach your team to be punctual. Your reports get punctual, invoices get in, everything then filters down in me just working in that character flow. So it's really important that you learn to highlight your insecurities and actually make them your strengths, because you then being that stronger leader, you mean you are opening up your business into greater heights. So
and new dimensions. Just in wrapping up, I'm gonna give you an opportunity to say a word to your mom-in-law, your sister-in-law, your husband, your friends that have been there. I know you've lost others along the way. It's been painful. Your siblings, your rocks, not even the rocks, because Christ is your rock. The pillars in your support structure. What would you like to say to them? Your staff members.
Yes. Sure. You know what? I wouldn't be where I am right now if it wasn't for those people. I wouldn't be this Nomsa today that is so confident in who she is if I didn't have these people that are pulling me up. My mother-in-law is so spiritual. She's such a prayer warrior, and sometimes when I go to her with problems, she immediately directs me to prayer, and that helps me so much. And then I have my sister-in-law, who is literally my other half, and she's that person when she looks at you, she's like, okay, what's wrong today? Let's go out, have lunch, and you can unpack and you can offload with her, and she can give you such great advice. She's that escape sometimes when you're really having a tough time. And then my husband, then on the other hand, who's also, we are just so equally yoked that he is also that person that can just look at me and say, okay, no, today let's not cook, or what is it that we can do? Because I'm book smart, he's street smart. So he's very quick thinking, he's the risk taker. So every time when I get stuck somewhere, he just comes up with a solution that's like, oh, why didn't I think of that? And I'm one who always wants to be in control of the situation, and he's just like, you're not in control, just let go. Let me take control of this. Let me handle it. So I'm very appreciative of that. And then I've just got a very strong and loving family. Like, we are so close and we love each other so much. We have so much fun together. Even with my team, we're a very young team. Very young, very diverse, very vibrant, and we really have a lot of fun. We do have a lot of jokes, and we are all in this together. We're really all, when we have a problem, we go in and we fix it together. when we have a new contract that we got, we all celebrate it together. So it's really good that it doesn't feel lonely, that we are in this thing and we are all on a journey of growing and learning. And I really believe that we are going to be a formidable force in this industry.
Wow.
As a Black-owned logistics business. We're really being a pioneer in what we're doing, and I'm bringing my young team with me in the growth. Yeah.
And your 3 little ones, they are also going to be part of it, or
they're actually 4.
There's
I've got 4 kids. Yes.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. The pocket 4. Yeah. And what is also interesting is it's a family business. You know, and it's always good to sit with young people that are building legacies. It's a legacy business. And I do know the next 10 years that it will be rich in faith as well.
Yes.
It will be rich in faith as well. Ladies and gentlemen, that is, what a beautiful conversation. One of resilience, one that is so rich with faith, one of growth, one that is honest with their mistakes and the importance of improving, you know, and being also very much open to possible opportunities in owning part of the value chain in road freight. You are remarkable. And she will be at the summit and her team at the Road Freight SME Summit. You are a beacon of hope. And it was just a pleasure sitting with you. Thank you for being an inspiration, Nomsa.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you. See you next time. Bye. It is that time of the year. Yes, it is time to start gearing up for the 3rd annual Road Freight SME Summit. And I'm here, Florence Msundwa, the convener of the Road Freight SME Summit, to invite you to book your seat. Not only a seat, but also book your stand. This year, we are convening on the 16th and the 17th of October at Indaba Hotel in Fourways in Johannesburg. It's going to be a 2-day fully packed for making sure that SMEs in road freight are building sustainable businesses. Yes, you heard me. I said you could book yourself an exhibition stand. We have what we call now developed a business exchange zone for small and medium enterprises in road freight, whether you're a transporter, whether you're a supplier doing telematics, whether it is you are resolving issues around tire management or fuel efficiency or driver wellness, you are welcome to buy an exhibition stand. Furthermore, day one is fully packed with hot topics in this industry. One of them, for instance, is the question around rail to road. Is it a threat to small and medium enterprises? Another one is going to be around the macroeconomics around the transport industry. Do you know what is causing some commodities to be more in demand and others not? Which commodity should you be thinking about transporting going forward? We'll also do a deep dive on the challenges around cash flow, making sure that you can run a profitable small and medium enterprise in road freight amongst the challenges in this particular industry and how highly competitive it is. Day two, we've got a myriad of master classes, technical master classes that will be looking into total cost of ownership. We'll look into the cost of downtime. We'll look into maintenance of fleet management, tire management, fuel efficiency. We'll also be looking into the bargaining council, labor regulations, what you need to know as a small and medium enterprise and how you can navigate some of the challenges. We'll also talk to whether it's good for you to buy secondhand or, for instance, to rent a truck. So make sure that you book your seat. I would love to see you there. I'm sure you can already tell who the leading voices in the industry is going to be. We are always being supported by industry associations such as Road Freight Association, SAPIC, SILTA SA. Leading sponsors include APSA, it includes JC Auditors, SASO, Cross Border Agency. They will all be there. Book your seat, book your slant. I look forward to meeting you all.